So guys, welcome back. This is week 2 of the Burr Podcast Show. You are live with me, Owen, aka the Burr.
And me, aka the handsome stranger, Sean Scullion.
I got some stick for that. And we also have Brian Cassidy with us. Welcome along, Brian.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
Brian from Dynamite Lifestyle. Brian is going to take us on a crazy ride here later on. We're very appreciative that you come along here, Brian. We know you have a flight to catch, so we'll not hold you to it. I'm not sure if I've been to some of Brian's seminars, so I'm not sure if we're going to hold Brian or Brian's going to hold us up. But we're going to have a bit of crack over the next show.
So guys, on to our weekly recap. So last week was our first show, obviously. So what way has it been on?
Are you famous yet?
Am I famous yet?
Have you been stopped in the street and goes, that is Sean Scullion?
Not yet, but we were at a wee show at the weekend and you were stopped on the road in through the door. And it is from where Brian, his hometown, in Arbo. And you know you're in Arbo whenever you drive in a blue van. Now this is Owen's blue van, right? And you go to park her up.
Whoa. Let's set the scene. Sexy MSRT van.
Sexy van, which is what I call it, right? So you drive in the van, and the first thing that's said to you whenever you get out of the van, Jesus, that's some van, lad.
No, boy, that's some van.
Who do you go, Spice? That's some van.
Not the nice car that drove in before you, but no, that's some van, boy.
Well, that there, boy, has taste. Boy.
Yeah.
So
what's the feedback been like?
We're famous, sure. No, the feedback's been great, guys. You have been brilliant. We had a great time setting this up. Very daunting launching it, especially when you launch it and you put yourself out there. I was expecting some of the comments, the trolls to come out from under the bridge, but no, it's been all very good. The positive feedback. My sister got on to me, Sean, about a little story you told.
Well, what'd you think?
Well, you weren't lying, which was a wee bit disheartening, but yeah, so she was on, but more alarmingly, so last week, Brian, we took in the PTs and we took in the doctor receptionist, and somebody's just told me there now, you're not going to get a PT and you're just going to stay fat, and when you take a heart attack, you're not going to get a doctor's appointment, so you're done. Well, I told the old boy, I says to the old boy, look, after last week's show, I says to him, Dad, it's time now. You need to give them a ring. And he says, right, that'll do. I'll ring them up and I'll fucking say to them, I'll put them right. So he rang them up and he says, I need to talk to the doctor. They asked him what it was about. He says, I just said it all. I says, something wrong with my dick. And they're like, you can't say that there. You should say there's something wrong with your ear or something. So we're all embarrassed. They hung up the phone. I says to him, Dad, you need to ring him back. So we rang him back and he says, I need to speak to the doctor. Why, what's wrong with you? Something wrong with my ear. What's wrong with your ear? Can't piss out of it. No, I'm only joking. That wasn't my dad. But we were only joking. Some of you, obviously the doctor's receptionist of my doctor's is brilliant. I'm never getting an appointment. I'm changing.
And you're back training as well, Owen?
Back training?
Just by yourself? Just by yourself, or is there anybody?
No, I have a PT.
Oh, you have a PT. So he slagged off PTs last week.
All right.
And now you've got a PT.
I have a no nonsense PT.
Oh, right.
He didn't change his name on Facebook. He's not an online coach. He's just a no nonsense PT. He's on my wavelength. He probably was like good man on.
He's one of the good ones then.
Problem being, some of the guys' egos are that big, so they thought I was specifically talking about them. But it wasn't, guys. That was broadly, again, you saw. But anyway.
So, to move swiftly on then, Brian, we're here to speak to you. No point in talking about ourselves all day here. But anyway, Brian, just let us know a wee bit about you, where you've come from. Like, we obviously know you from the guy in Arbo that we grew up with. And you're a year younger than us in school. Well, same year as you.
Yeah.
You're younger than me in school and whatnot.
John's older, by the way.
Yeah, a year. Just the 1 year. And positive mind, positive body, but today I felt like I had one of them days that everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. Wife's car in the garage, so I had to go and borrow the brother's car. Then I had a rush to get the children. Then I had a rush to get them dropped off. Coming out the road, stuck behind a ball of traffic. Goodbye to that traffic, more traffic, blah, 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 blah. So,
Well,
did I have that coming to me?
they say that there when you get out of the wrong side of the bed. How you start your day is going to project your day. Did you decide that you were going to have a good day today? Like, this is the thing. What we do here at Dynamite Lifestyle, we help people perform at a high level. Like, we were human performance managers. We are all humans, so we want to perform at our best. But what we don't do is use the biggest and the greatest, highest energy of mankind known, which is thinking. You didn't think the way you wanted to do it. You didn't plan the day you wanted to do it. Most people just try and get through a day rather than try and get something from the day. You were trying to get through it. But it's every way you start your day projects your day. Like how you get up in the morning, this is the kind of day. I know this is going to be the day. What you're thinking is literally going to show up in your reality. Every single time, that is exactly how our life, there's a strangest secret. And the strangest secret was done by Earl Nightingale. It actually became a recording he played, and it actually went to the top of the charts. It was the first time ever happened. The strangest secret. What was the strangest secret? Our thoughts truly become things. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts become things. You started thinking, this is going to be one of these days. I just know this is one of these days. Well, you know what? You've just got sent out to the world. You've sent the universe out there to go and get all these things that could go wrong for you, and they just lined them up after. Because you know why? It just wants to prove you right. Every single time that you think a thought, the universe is going to give it to you. You heard about the law of attraction. You've heard about the law of vibration. Well, the law of attraction is secondary law. It's a law of vibration. And every time we think, lads, like I could go into one here because I'm just after doing seminar stuff, but this is how people fall down a victim every single day. They play the reaction mode rather than the response. You could have held that and you go, no, I'm not going to have that day. I know I'm going to do. You could have took a pen down and started being giving gratitude for something right at that moment. You could have shifted and changed your whole vibration, which is your energy, and you would have started attracting things that are good in your life. When things aren't going well for you in the morning when you think it is, you didn't start your morning with gratitude, did you?
I don't know if I did or not. I was just going from A to B
Exactly.
to C to D.
You were letting environment, you were letting circumstances, and you were letting conditions control you. You had absolutely no control over that. So you became a victim to your circumstances, your conditions, and environment. And when we do that, we lose control. We have absolutely no control. The best way to start in the morning is to grab your day. Like I said every single morning, I design how my day is going to go. I design what I want to achieve that day. I let it write down. I'm so happy and grateful now. It could be for the cup of coffee. I'm so happy and grateful for my partner. The roof over my head. What have I done? You start in a low vibration. Where have I started? I started in this vibration. Because I've started about the things I'm grateful for. My thoughts are now in line with what I want rather than what I don't want. You started thinking about, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen.
But it was more like a need. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do the other.
But see, the word thing called need comes from a place of lack, and we live in a world of an abundance. And if we keep working from the word of need, you're only going to get to see lack everywhere in your life. And that'll become from not achieving or not getting the things you truly want. You said, I need to get through. I need. But it's your want. You didn't design your day. You could have wrote down what way did you want the outcome to do. Our assumptions will bring our reality. Every single thing, you had to assume that I wanted Brian on here to this thing. Now it's reality. It first was in your mind. You thought about it. Now it's here in the physical.
Well, Ryan, let me, for some of the people that's watching it, that's maybe not, I know you're speaking at a serious heightened level there, and you can go, but I just want to bring you back just for the people that are watching, and there's some people in the state of mind, and now I myself, I've been to your seminars, I read The Secret. I'd be very, very conscious of a positive mind and putting things out there and like you have no idea the things I put in my mind that I see already. I seen this studio, I seen that. But let's take that back to the people that are not at that level, or not at that level, but not ready to listen to that, and they're just sitting going, what shite are they talking?
Exactly.
So like you're saying there, the likes of Sean and how you think, and some people might turn around and say, right, well, I'm going to start my day with gratitude. And I've seen this massively now. Mm-hmm. And actually, I have to be honest, I only ever done that a few weeks ago. Trying to get their head right. Says in the morning, I'm going to start writing down. And there were stupid, simple things. But in the everyday life there, could you think them things? Because like there's, Jesus, the first thing in the morning, maybe 10 to 6 this morning, you have a bar crying, you're not like, hey, hang on there, kid, I'm away to get my notepad. But I'm not belittling it, but for the people that's there is watching and going, that's all well and good, you know, if you have time or you've such and such, blah, blah, blah. But if you're in till, you know, is it the thought, is it the actual having that thought of starting that right?
Well, it's attitude. You know, we were talking about there. Your attitude to life is going to be life's attitude towards you. His attitude woke up this morning, something went wrong. He didn't change his attitude. It's just going to be one of these days. It's just going to be that. And that then becomes a knock-on effect because you know what? You haven't stimulated any other thoughts. And attitude is a composite, lads, of thoughts, feelings, actions equals results. So whatever you think and you felt it, you're like, it didn't go well. So he emotionalized with that thought and it made his body act in a way that would bring another thing. And he was just sending out, you were talking about the secret, sending out that vibration. Whatever you're thinking, you're putting out, must come back, must return to sender.
Well, we'll dial that back. For me, the awareness started coming when I was watching The Secret or listening to The Secret. I actually audiobooked it, which was a bit lazy. But actually brilliant. It opened my eyes to audiobook because see if you're out walking somewhere and you have that playing in your ear or like a real decent podcast playing in your ear, hit the subscribe button. I had started saying simple things. If you bought a certain model of a car and you'd never seen it before, and then the next thing you're driving around the country and every second car you see is the model of car, and you know, is that it wasn't there? Is your mind now starting to attract it? So that for me, that was a clear sign that, or if there's someone you're dreading seeing or something like that, or you're avoiding or something, you're sure to bump into it because you put the thought out there too.
That's awareness, right? And you talked about one thing; they're always there, but you're never consciously aware of it. You know, certain people in a room come into this room and they don't really look at the sockets of the lights because they don't do it. I come in and I know the shape and I know if one's off crooked because I was an electrician back in my past. I'm constantly aware of that, and the first things I look at, I know the lighting, I look around. You then said I wanted to be thinking about a blue car. Boom, you now brought your conscious attention, your focus, and your energy, and then that'll pick up on that because now your energy is focused on that. So then you'll see it, but Sean, he was there and he didn't see that blue car. You seen it because you brought your attention. This is the reason why when we do goals, guys, you want to write down a goal, you put it down there, you put your attention, your focus, your energy goes into that thing. That's the outcome that you want. You're going to see only opportunities to bring that towards you if you focus on that. But if you don't have anything written down, you'll never see opportunities. You'll only see problems.
So for my day-to-day, car in the garage, wife's car in the garage, I have to go and borrow the brother's car. But I should be grateful that I have a brother that I could get the car from. You
get to go and spend time with your brother. You
Yes.
got to see it. He might have needed something from you that day. The way I always see everything, the way it is, it's happening for you, not against you. That's what you want to do. You always want to see life always happening for you, not to you. You thought today was happening to you. But when you change your perception on things, this is what we do. It's one of your higher mental faculties. You went to the gym earlier. When we go to the gym, we our muscles, nobody's sitting down and working on our mental muscles with the mind. The perception there, you change your perception. When I see something going wrong, I goes, oh, interesting. I wonder what good's going to come from this. I look and I go, can't wait to see. Like if our table or something didn't turn up, like we seen it in our house, we're moving into a new house, table doesn't turn up, like, whoa, what interesting thing. Well, we realised the table was going to be far too big and it wouldn't fit in the room because we sat down and we looked at it. I wanted to figure out why did that happen to me because I know the universe is only looking to give me. Success is inevitable.
Well then, Brian, you're now here and you're an accomplished speaker because I've heard you and you could talk. But let's go back a bit because I have known you a long time.
Yeah.
And you haven't always been this, how should I say, enlightened. And I could sit and listen to it because there's a lot of that resonates with me. And it will resonate with a lot of people. Some people just aren't ready to listen to that yet and they will say, look at these three talking shit. But let's dial it back to show them that, you know, it's not just, you know, this full cycle that you've come from where, you know, I remember you in school and you were wild. Like.
Oh, nuts.
But the wild person that a lot of people maybe loved at that time.
Yeah, but you know what? Being the most popular person in the world doesn't mean that you like yourself.
No.
Most times the person's the most popular person in the room is he's got a lot of problems going on within because he's trying to hide that. I was hiding a lot of stuff that was going on mentally within me. We all grew up, we all got our own past, we've all got troubles when you grew up. Childhood, anything, it's wee bit of mum, wee bit of dad and whatever environment you're in. People's got shit going on. But when I was 17, you probably know, a good friend of mine passed away at the age of 17. We're young. What do you want to do? You think you're not going to live forever? You want to live your life to the full. What way do you do that?
Party time.
Party time, lads. We go out, we drink, we go to used to be the Gaslight every weekend, Clubland, used to be out the arena. You go off to the Ibizas. And when you go around that, you're starting to put yourself in an environment. What are people doing out there? The alcohol doesn't give you the high anymore. It doesn't stimulate you enough. So what do? You adventure on because you know you could be dead tomorrow. So you pop the pills. The pills start coming. You start getting involved in drugs. And then you do that. And it's the best. It was the best crack and the best fun. But you do that every weekend. You're only trying to live for the weekends and trying to get through the week. You're getting nothing from the week. You're not getting anything from life. You're getting serious hangovers and you're doing something to that mind, that beautiful brain of yours. You're damaging it over and over again. And over a while, that takes its freaking toll. And I can tell you now, it took a toll in my life. I'd go on a journey of that there for about 10 years. Party. And a lot of people probably listen to this and a lot of your mates were probably in them parties as well. And that's the thing, guys. I was in a state of depression. I had went to all the Ibizas and Amsterdams, full moon parties. Wherever it was you could have a party, I was there. But every time it would come after them parties were over, I was in the room. I can tell you now, I was the life and soul of a party, but you couldn't, my parents, my brothers and sisters couldn't speak to me. I was going through hell in that room on my own, waiting for Thursday or Friday to get back on it again. You weren't eating for 4 days then. You know, that's what I'm saying. Then you're back. My life was saying I wanted it to be over, but I would go in this 10 years, and in that 10 years, I'd have 3 friends who'd take their own life because they were in that dark room and they never got out of it. I thought I could be that. 2 friends would overdose of drugs as well. That's the thing. You talk about 5 friends, you know, hang up, show me your 5 friends and I show you your future. What do you think my future was going to be? I knew there could have been like that. I knew something had to change. I wanted change. That would take me on the journey. Personal development that we talk about. But what do we first thing do? You don't go to personal development first. You go to what your parents taught you. The only thing that you ever do. When you're in trouble, what do? You go to prayer. You go to the chapel. You go to God. And I went to that. And I was in Surfers Paradise at the time when I meant going. Because I got myself out of the environment. Go over there. And I thought this could help me getting out of it. Changing my environment. I was in beautiful living on a beach. But guess what? I was still backed up into the drink and the drugs again. And then I was, boom, way to the chapel, trying to pray for things to get better. The more I prayed, the more things got worse. Because when you pray in that energy, you only get more of that. And I was putting out all the wrong stuff. I went away off, got fighting, broke 2 hands and 2 bones in my hand. I had to get the hell out of Australia because there was no work then after that. So I goes, I'm finished with religion because that didn't work for me. Then I would go and do what everybody else does. We're listening to this. What are YouTubes? We've got our Dr. Wayne Dyers, you have Tony Robbins, you've got Les Brown. But that guy, Dr. Wayne Dyer, spoke to me. He was in the spiritual world. He was talking about meditation. I tried meditation. Boom. I was enjoying that. I goes, right. And he talked about yoga. I goes, oh, you need to do yoga. Union with one. I'd like to know that. I jump on a plane and head off to Paradise Island in the Bahamas. Like, this is what I do. I'd never done yoga in my life. Here's me sitting in an island where you stay in a tent in the Bahamas in a yoga retreat for teachers for doing yoga. I had no idea how to stretch my legs. And here's me sitting here and a big dong going off. And you get up in the morning, you're doing this Jaya Ganesha, Vandaman. This is it, raising the chakras, doing a mantra. I didn't know what it was. I had a sheet because I didn't understand. I didn't know it, but I read it. And I'd be shaking. I thought it was me coming off the drugs or the drink or something because I didn't know what was going on. But the vibration in my body was good. I was like, this is me. I've really connected with something. This is working. Like, but you come back here, you're trying to do something on the outside to fix something on the inside. I'd jump in the plane, come back. Instead of me coming back, and it was all good for a few weeks, but I had a bigger party. You talked about ego there. Ego's edging God out. I was definitely edging God out because I went back to a party, doing my drugs and drinking, and a better story to tell. But I knew I needed to still change. I was back doing the drinking and drugs again. So where would that lead me to? That would lead me to the secret you were talking about earlier on. That would be my first introduction to Bob Proctor. What? You know what? You just got to think about something, then you draw it to you, and then you get it. So I started doing that with the car parking spaces, did it with a bit of money. Oh, this is all good, like. But it says that you had to have a burning desire because that's where you're really going to find your real gift. I would then decide, where did I have? Because I was going through drinking drugs. I didn't have any desires. I was only to get out the weekend, to get a party, to get a woman. That was my life. I didn't know what else was part of it. But I remember having, see the time I was doing this, I was getting in fights, get 3 plates in my face, you know, getting fighting, knocked out, lying up in hospital. I was getting arrested every other weekend. just life was crazy.
You should do what Sean does. Pick fights with smaller people. Or get better at it.
If I had seen the boy that hit me at all.
But, not to interrupt you, but me and you have discussed your story before. And we've had a chat about this and we went through it. And the part, it's not funny, but the part that I always think, and Brian would be like, he would go to do something and then he would come back and then he was doing the ejaculation. And I always thought to myself, I can picture Brian going out, you know, in his like, you know, just a bit more hippie style clothing.
His yoga.
You know, and he's coming back with his dreadlocks and he's just you know, he's in life. But I could just picture him heading into Arbo into the bar. Ejaculation. And the boy he's sitting at the bar probably be thinking, Jesus, them drugs have got stronger, hey. No, but I'm laughing. There's obviously a very serious undertone, and the one thing that we picked up on, and when me and you were discussing this, was that constant need to fill something.
Oh, validation.
You would replace one, you would just become completely compulsive about one thing, and then that wasn't fulfilling that, then just move on. Which a lot of people maybe not notice it, but can resonate with that's a genuine thing that a lot of us, like, I am a wild man for starting a hobby, and like Sean gives me shit about this bike I have. I had to get the best bike and get all the thing, and I'd say we done 20 mile on her, like. but not to your level, and not the thing, but you know. So there you are. You've went out in a yoga retreat. You've found that new thing that resonates with you, and you've came back, and now you're into the secret.
And this is the thing. You're like, whoa.
But this is one of these things that, like, your story is obviously you were on a roller coaster ride, you know, coming through that. And did you come to the point that you were sitting rock bottom?
Oh man, I wanted to go. I was getting in. I mean, sitting. My sister Gemma was in the house, and I mean, because you're taking the coke, right? It's bad for your heart, whatever it is. Like, I had trouble with the heart for a long time, you know, because back and forth, because I was doing the drugs, and I mean going in, but I had to get mummy to leave the room because I didn't want her to let her know that I was doing the drugs. And you're sitting there, and every time, look, I can't. The doctor, they're not allowed to tell. So I didn't want them to know, because you're hiding. One thing about drugs, you're always paranoid and you don't want anybody to know your business. One time there was a sister, Gemma, in the house, and I remember, like, it was just, and I couldn't get a breath. And I literally goosebumps here now when I think about it. Boom, I went blue and I fell on the floor. Gemma was down on top of me, like, scrapping, what's going on? Like, this is what you're putting on your body. We don't know. This is living life to the full, and you're about to lay and die there. But it does scare the life out of you. But at the same time, I was having thoughts I didn't want to be here either. I mean, getting a knife in the kitchen and, like, just holding it against myself and trying to think. And I wanted my life over because I hated going about my life. I didn't like who I was. Didn't like anything going on. I thought there was no life for me. And that scared the life out of me. But you know, that's where, like, I was seeing people dropping around me, like, you know, and that's people taking their lives and stuff. And it just freaked me out, like. And I knew that there was more, and I had to go and do it. I had to do whatever it took.
But even like you're saying that there, and obviously you got onto the secret and this, that, and that. You don't have to be somebody that's sitting rock bottom to actually.
No.
You know what I mean? No.
Do you know what?
Your story is that story.
Somebody else's story can be somebody else, you know, somebody else's mask and somebody else's blueprint for success. That's the freaking way of it. Like, everybody out there's got a problem. If I had read a bloody book, that was somebody's already went through what I've went through before. Like, everybody. I know we have clients there that I've saved 10 years of the trouble that I'd went through just because I shared my story.
But I don't know. I'm not a great believer 100% in that. Because whatever way they had to go in their path to come to meet you, they had to travel that path.
I know, but some people don't get it.
I know.
Less people are.
But I do know.
People haven't got it in them to keep going. This is the reason why that I say it, and I have to hope for that, because you know why? I see it happen all the time. Very recently, just in my own life again. I had somebody very close to me take their own life. Like that, I was talking to him 2 weeks before, and I says, you need to get your mind going. You need to start working, because he's off work and stuff. That there thing needs to move. You're not using it, you'll lose it. And he lost it. And in a state of pure calmness, and then boom, not here. And not, like, this is the reason why I do agree. Yes, and everybody has to go through it, but people are not willing to go through it anymore. I say, what you go through, you grow through.
Yes.
And that's what you're right.
Maybe then I'll come across a wee bit wrong. What I mean there is, when you're saying, you obviously are impassioned now with the road that you've travelled to make sure that the people you come across don't go that road.
Yeah. You don't have to.
And probably, but this is the thing, Brian. If you didn't have them friends that took their life, would you be as impassionate about stepping in to help them people? What I'm saying is, we're all products of our environment, or everything that we've went through, and I'm a massive believer in, and if you could change things, I always say, if I change things, would I know the things I know now, would I be where I'm at now, would I have met my wife, would I have my the things that are good.
Yeah.
So sometimes, but that, there's people out there.
I don't want to see people go through that pain.
But so here's what I'm saying. So people that are on that path now, and we're going to put in your links for anyone that's feeling like that, and that want to talk and want that change. There's people just in the rut. They're not bottoming, as Sean says, they're not completely bottomed out where they were standing with a knife to their chest. But there's people they're going through the mill.
The motions.
They're just going through the motions. They're going to their job and they're coming home, and there's that thing missing.
It's called purpose.
Aye, well, so I'm interrupting your story, but I'm intrigued for the simple reason is, and then some of the people, this will resonate with the fact that, where you had to come from. I've seen you stand up there in front of a couple of hundred people in a room now, and people just sitting there, they're either sitting there like, Jesus, or there'll be people, Brian, and they'll just be closed it and they'll be like, you know what, this is shit. Like, I'm not there. But I could see people. They were invested in that. They want, and it's there's a good feeling when you surround yourself with everyone positive. If you have that mate that's just down about everything, they're hard work, like they are, and it's as you were talking about the vibration. But I just say they're just annoying because when they start making it, you'll either come down to them, or you'll have to cut that loose to keep yourself up. Do you know what I mean?
But that's it.
It's thing. But we're diversing off. But you were back, The Secret, and then is that where you've come from now, or
that's look, I got the burning desire, lad. That's where I decided I wanted to be an All-Ireland champion boxer. But I didn't want it over in the first minute, so I heard repetition is the key to this.
Did you want to become a boxer because you got a wild bit of beatings?
When I was
you were like, I've had enough plates here. I'm beeping every time I go through the airport.
There was 64 odd years like there, boys, in Arbo. There was never an All-Ireland title, but there was loads of boxing. Nobody had ever won one, and I mind writing it. And the amount of things when you leave school.
That's because they boxed in the whole car park.
That's true. They wouldn't let it in there,
and that's maybe very fitting this week. But go ahead. Sorry,
but I mean that there ended up like I decided that I wanted. My dad was a coach in boxing.
Yeah.
I hadn't done it, and I had been off partying. I'm too old, 2 false teeth and 3 plates in my face. Like, this is not going to work for me. But I had the idea of the secret of mine. You can get anything you want. And I mean, the more I listened, I put it for 6 months in the car over and over and over again. Repetition. I was building myself. I programmed that this is possible. Just like you said there, I ditched everybody, girlfriend, everything out of my life because I decided I was going to have this and I would rather die than not get it. There's a burning desire. I get up every morning at 6 o'clock. Set off in this destination, write down the date, 2 years from when it was, and I would go on that journey and write down exactly how I would want to win it by stoppage. And I would then proceed in this journey till a new boxing club. We ended up setting up our own boxing club. I became chairman of the own boxing club. And we would go in 2 years of training other people, helping other people, and I would go through this here 6 o'clock every morning. I will, I can, I must, run on the roads. I was training twice a day where everybody else was thinking because I wanted this so badly. And that would definitely shift something in me and change. And I was like, this is unreal. I'm like zoned in, no eating, like asparagus and turkey. Pin there got me in my eating thing. And literally, he says to me, you're 7% body fat. If you go down to 3, you could possibly die. I goes, I'm going to die if I don't do this. So I went down to it, and I mean going in for the weigh-in, like in for the All-Ireland quarterfinals. And like I had to get into the sauna because I was still overweight, and we were getting credit cards, Michael Mitchell and all.
What weight?
60 kg.
60 kilos. What age?
I was 30. 29, 30.
It's tight enough for a 20-year-old cub.
That was 19-year-old, the boys I was fighting, 19 and 20.
Oh, Owen had a boxing career as well, Brian. So he did. Remember that boxing career years ago?
Undefeated.
It was
undefeated. Look, listen. Undefeated.
Back in the day, do you know every man's dog was having a charity boxing match?
Oh, yes, right.
So Owen stepped in for the Father Rocks.
No.
It was
to fight somebody in Father Rocks.
In the Father Rocks. So the Father Rocks were obviously running it. So Owen, he jumped in and Jerry Mullen, big shout out to you. Hammered the head off Owen around the place.
Conspiracy lies.
Yeah. But do you mind you were up?
Undefeated, Sean. Undefeated.
You come second.
Aye.
No.
But Owen also was up in the sauna with
The
the
weight
credit
cut.
cards. Just the same as what you're saying there.
Mine was slightly more than 60 kilos. but let's put this into perspective for some people that think, like, I seen a picture of you at 60 kilo and you were ripped up, but let's be honest, 3% body fat, you're probably your most unhealthiest. At that point, you're probably your most unhealthiest, because your wild perceptives of picking up pneumonia, colds, stuff like that, that sort of, I'm sure.
But again, like, I was still training in that there. I was eating asparagus and turkey. We had no like carbohydrates. Like, this is like, I wanted to get down. I couldn't be at the other weight because one of the boys in the club were going to be at that weight. So I had to jump on down. And literally, it was my hardest thing. But in the sauna that morning, like, you could possibly fight that day. I was scraping off that.
You need to have some mindset. Like, I've seen,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I was on a running machine, and there was a boy from Marfelt. I was on a running machine, and he was underweight, so he had to eat Mars bars, and he was standing beside me eating Mars bars, and I'm on a running machine, friggin' with bags and coats and jumpers on me, trying to get this for weigh-in. But I walked in, and I couldn't sit in the seat. The van, I had to lie down the back because there wasn't no energy. And I getting up, and I had to go to the toilet before I weighed in because I was throwing up green bile. So I was at that, like, this is the worst state I've ever been in. Like, just really pushed my body.
Weight cut.
I don't get it, lad.
I
I literally do not get the whole weight cut thing, because you're literally doing that for months, years, whatever it is, to prep for that there.
But I mean, look
at over a minute.
You could be fighting that day, and what do you? I went to the six.
That's dangerous. Let's just put this, because there has been studies about
what
this.
Was dangerous? Me staying where I'm at, or me doing something to put my body to the limit? I was putting my body to the limit, because success and failures in a thing, a razor's edge. So is life and death. So every time I took a pill that I didn't know who mixed up and who made, or who put down a bag of coke on me, I didn't know who made that. I put that up my nose. That's life and death situation.
I've seen weight cut. I remember going to the live McGregor weight cut, and I looked at him and I was like, that man's ill, like proper ill. But the one thing that I would say, and then Joe Rogan was a massive for this here, that they allowed the weigh in at the morning of the day before, so it allowed enough time to get your fluids back in and thing. Because what I was saying was dangerous about that was taking blows to the head when you are not fully, when you're either, you don't have the right nutrients, or you're not by, like, what it's right. So let's put it this way, and I've seen this. If you made the cut,
well, I see when I made the cut, we had to queue up, like, and there's line, and I know the boys, I queued up, and the boys, I didn't know at the time, but the boys who were my weight were thing. When I literally queued up, you were in your boxers, like, I made 60, and I roared, literally my vest is in a I screamed, I just won the fucking All-Ireland title
for you
by doing that. But their boys were standing in the queue, and their boys were going to be fighting me. And I literally did it straight on to rank went, then boom, give me exactly the types of food of when you should be eating
what
them
weight
after.
were you when you fought the next day, or later that day?
Later that day, well, we don't weigh that day, but I mean,
you put on some.
But I mean,
that's what I mean.
That's called water cut. That's called water cut. We weren't water cut. I was literally carbohydrate completely off. Because
if you're in a sauna scraping yourself, you're getting rid of your water too.
But that's what I'm saying. I could have been up maybe 61 and a half, 62. Like that. See, losing points, something, it's massive. But I went and wait. I had to fight that day. My draw was pulled out that day.
Oh, Jesus.
And I literally goes, but Ryan, give me the food. And I mean, the food literally, boom, I was feeling right. Because I had been planning 2 years. I thought about this every single day. I was out on that road. I put the medal around my neck, look at a picture on it. And I goes, I'm going to win this. And that was it. I already assumed it. I remember going up, and it was half an hour before the quarterfinals. And I had forgot about what I had written. And I literally was meditating. Everybody else warming up. I was meditating. I was zoned out. I was calm. Everybody else doing the pad stuff. Michael Mitchell goes to me, do you want to do it? No. I goes, this is one. Forget about it. The boy hasn't got a chance. Because I was such a confidence, and I knew I didn't need to do anything. All I had to do was stand that ring. And I remember the boy coming with the gloves, and I says, right, who's up next? And I was just sitting, it'll be me. No, he's up the next one. I was just sitting there, relaxed, forearm, shoulder, put them on, and I get into that ring, and I can tell you now, when the bell went, I watched somebody else walk out, and boom, did not stop. I didn't breathe for the 1 minute, and that fight was over in 1 minute. I watched somebody else take that fella apart. And that's what I had wrote down 2 years before, and I want to win by stoppage. I'd never stopped anybody before. I stopped that boy in 1 minute after doing through that cut that day, and I meditated before getting into the ring. Because you program yourself in such a way, just like the way we jumped into the car and you come here, automatic.
But what happens then, Brian? you have that goal fixated, and it's obviously something, and this is very well documented with Tyson Fury. His goal was to be a world champion.
Biggest depression.
And he said the worst thing ever happened to him was winning the world championship. Because when you fixate on one, not a process, a goal, a single goal in your life, when you achieve that, this sense of underwhelming, it's there, it's euphoric, but it's a moment in time.
This is for me. I won the All-Ireland. That was my biggest state of depression after winning the All-Ireland. Just like that.
Because that's what I was going to...
I literally went on and won the All-Ireland just because I'd never lost a round. My literally father, who always said, you know, you're too old, everything. I used to sit beside him because he was always so negative. He stood beside me with a picture when I won it, and that was a great feeling. But it was after that I had won it, and it was euphoric, yes. But I can tell you now, like, I got this. Now what? I was fucking, my whole 2 years left and everything, I was back doing the coke and the drugs again. Literally back in harder with a better story. I was in the biggest worst state. The problem was, okay, I did not know what a goal was about. I thought a goal was about getting. A goal is not about getting. A goal is about becoming something you never were before. A goal is about growth, or an inherent nature in life is to grow. And we grow by setting destination. I always know when I get to the top of a mountain now, I know I'm at the bottom of another one. And I love that because I know I'm always going somewhere. Where people think I get this and everything about okay, but then when they get it, they're like, why am I not feeling the way I wish I was feeling? Like I just did. Now I know goals are about growing. That's what we set goals for. Look how focused, laser focused. Everything that was going on in the world around me, I had no idea. Because I was going this way. I was so focused. Friends and people who were partying, boom, I was here. And but that was the thing. So I was like, how on earth is this thing? I says, I'm never setting a goal again. Never having a desire again. Because I says, them things ruin me. But you know what? I'm still doing the partying. So what the hell? I needed to work out in something else. And for me, I literally would do the reading because the secret really changed something in me. I'd be reading a book called Stealing the Fire. And it was these Navy SEALs about trying to get into that ecstasy state, a state of ecstasis, they call it. You know, they go in and they say they're boom. Remember I got into that ring? That was my state of ecstasis. I had just trained for that moment for the last 2 years.
Can I ask you something? See, when you're talking about that, when you get in the ring, and it's the same, I think it's the same sometimes when you're rallying or rugby, there's an escapism, because for that single few moments in time,
You're the most present.
but there's nothing. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. It's not even in your peripheral. It's not in your mindset. You are just. Me and you were talking about that, and I was like, it's funny, you know, you go away and then it's almost like you're hungover at the end of the day when you're coming home, because all the things of your life has now come back to your mind. You're like, shit, I need to get home, and I need to get kids or whatever it is. But a lot of what you were saying there in the past you off, it just felt like escapism, that you were going to get away and you think, and now you're back here. Is it every time you think you've bottomed out, every time you've come back, does it feel like it's
worse?
It's lower.
It's worse.
You've come back.
It's 100% worse. 100%. Because every time you've tried and failed, it gets worse. Because what am I supposed to be doing here? Nothing's working. I'm trying and trying, but guess what I was doing? I was trying everything on the outside. I had looked on the inside. But you're 100% right. Where our attention goes. This is the reason why adrenaline junkies love adrenaline, because you know why? It's when we become present, no thingness in life. We become it, the thing that we are, the spirit. You don't become Ogie. I don't become Brian. You become that thing, that energy within you, that soul that you have in there. You become present with that. And that's the most beautiful gift in the world. And that's the reason why people love that. And that's why they seek it. And that's why they go after it.
So, right, we're back again. And you've won the All-Ireland. And it was everything for that minute. And you're back now.
I'm back. I'm doing the drugs again and stuff. But guess what? I had the reading, and the secret was good. I had fell out with the secret right now, but I liked the reading bit. So I picked up the book, Stealing the Fire, and in it there was a Navy SEALs going into that place of Zen. You know, they're literally going, right, what is that? And then somebody says, because I want to get to that state, but I want to get that state of ecstasis the quickest way. So what would they say? This word ayahuasca. I had no idea what ayahuasca was. Into the internet. Whoo! This thing is called spiritual and it's drugs. I go, can you sign me up to that right now? And you know, that very day that I seen that word ayahuasca, I would go to Forbes' club that day, and I'd be sitting in the club, and I says, I'm going to do this thing called ayahuasca. Boy sitting in front of me says, my friend done it there only 2 months ago in Portugal in Monte Moriposa. I says, you shitting me? I've never heard of this word in my life, and now his friend has done it, and he says, the best thing ever. He goes, give me his number. Contact him, he put me onto the Sacred Voyage, and that would be, now I can say these names because you know why? They're not doing it anymore. It's illegal now. You know, Amsterdam made it illegal to do ayahuasca. So you can't, that was a company from there that was doing it over there. But I'd signed myself up for it. And this was me going off on a journey. I was literally going, I've got drugs, I've got spiritual, I've got everything I want here. And this
why aren't more people, why isn't there commercial flights to here every day?
But I mean, it was literally...
What ayahuasca, so what is ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca is bark of a tree. It's the strongest DMT in the planet, which is a hallucinogenic. It creates that there. And you take a bark of a tree and leaves of a tree and they do it together and all these, you know, they do put it in. It's they say it tastes rotten. It is stinking. Like, most ways it tastes like your soul. Like, but you have to do a preparation for your body because you're going to meet Mother Ayahuasca, Mother Nature. And you have to, like, no orgasms. You have no, you know... You literally no orgasms at all for 3 weeks beforehand, no meat beforehand, no alcohol for 3 weeks. Again, me, I'm addictive.
No steaks, no beer,
no
riding,
no chance
for 3 weeks. Oh, well, I'm married anyway, so no, I'll pay for that one later. So I'm not 100% sure it sounds as exciting as it.
But that's the
it's not
build-up.
as appealing. It's not as appealing.
But
anyway,
this is you preparing your body to say it, right? And you go over there and you have to bring white with you because you're going to be wearing all white.
and did you stick to
100%?
So you stuck it right.
100%. That's what I stuck to it. And when I went over there, like we'd meet in all these. There were 17 different countries from around the world represented. There's 21 of us there, and all these people come in, and we'd start, and everybody was a bit weird. You know, that's what I'd seen it because they'd done ayahuasca before and stuff. Some of these people. And everybody's come with these problems. They're supposed to get over addictions. That's the reason why I did it. You know, you can get over addictions to help a lot of people change their lives and stuff. So, but you would go into there, and the first day we would do a thing called a breathing. It's very famous now, holotropic breathing or something you call it. And literally, I was breathing, and you go into a state of ecstasis. It's like having a pill, only by breathing and with music going.
I have seen.
And you trip out, your all arms come in and the seas, and next of all, you're literally going in your zone, and then you go into laughter, and you can laugh for about half an hour, 45 minutes. I watched a girl do it before, and I go, is this actually happening?
And she got a ayahuasca in her. I want that.
But whatever she was doing, I was like, she done that with her breath? Because I've wasted all that money on drugs now. I could have done this with my own breath. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this is going to be my party piece.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know whether, Brian, you could have rocked up to a party at 3 a.m. and says, look, guys, forget phoning your man.
I tried.
In through the nose.
I was all pumping out, but it was like filling the oxygen. But you know what? That was great. And then the next day we would do the ayahuasca, and you sit down.
So how many days you flew?
5 days.
You flew into Portugal.
5 days.
Right. So did you tell me I was in the mountain or something?
It's in the mountains of Monte Moriposa in Portugal. And you get in there, like, and you're all meeting around.
Were you on your own?
On myself, you go in and you have to hold hands and everything. There's a big boy, Sam, was travelling around the world, so he was a big New Zealander rugby player. And you have to do this heartwarming thing, like, and he's a big rugby player. He has just been troubled. He's been travelling the world. He just bumped into the ayahuasca here in friggin' Portugal. And we have to do this whole thing, sense of touch with other person, like, and it was just the most freakiest thing. But it's about trying to get uncomfortable, but being comfortable with being uncomfortable. They were trying to push you out and trying to prepare you for what you're about to go through. And it was great. Like, everybody got really close there, but we would take the thing.
Sounds we would like it.
It does, isn't it? But we would sit in this big circle, and inside of like a dome, you know, and everybody's got a thing. And the first thing you see is the buckets, and you see all the blankets and stuff, and you're like, wonder what these buckets are for. I've heard about purging, like, you know, you're supposed to purge, because I was reading up about it.
This is you.
This is me going
Some
into.
people just go straight into.
Oh, they do, like, but I was like, right, let's go. Give us over this ayahuasca, and I take.
So what way does it come?
They comes, look, we bowl. She comes round me. They come round. You sit in your wee thing, and everybody's in a circle, you know, right? And there's somebody in the musical. I've still got the music. It's unreal, and
I think the music's taking you back to that hit.
Oh, that's the reason why I do it. You go in there, you can just go into that zone because it is a most incredible experience. So I took the sip of it. I'm looking around.
So is it liquid?
Oh, liquid. It's like a bark of a tree and leaves a tree, and they mix it around and smoke it, and then you drink it. And it does taste. I didn't think it was too bad, but they say it's rotten, and everybody else took theirs. And then David had done it about 6 or 7 times. One of the boys from England, He's about 60. And he's done about 60. He only takes one. Right? And he sits down and relaxes. Sitting here, right? Doesn't work for me. I have a high metabolism to this here. Can I have another one, please? And again, because you're allowed to go on, and next fall comes around with another wee glass, and I was only about 4 or 5 us take another one, and I was all right. I was right. I've paid all this money and I'm not going to get anything. This is it. This doesn't work for me. And I goes, right, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to friggin' take another one. So I got another thing. Is you sure now? He goes, yeah, give me another one.
An hour bang.
Another bang. So I had 3 cups of this here.
I would see the buckets and I'd be like, I'll take a half.
One's enough.
I'll take a half.
Yeah.
I just literally fired it into me, and I was like, right, what is this here next fall? Just as I had put that down, I lay down, and it was like somebody taking your face off. And I mean, the heat, the thing, and the colours and everything, purples, and oh my God, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it. And literally, your whole body just starts to contract and stuff. And literally,
That sounds like some shit.
Oh, but then you start throwing up, and it's black that comes out of your mouth. Black stuff comes out of your mouth. It is the most, like, I've never seen that stuff before, but it's coming out of me, and it's just like your eyes are falling out of your head and everything. It's just, because everything's in different shapes and stuff, and it's just into this bucket, and there's people being sick around you and stuff, but everything's moving, and you just go off in a state of complete disarray. But you get to the point where you start going in places, thinking about other things, and then it starts to get a wee bit more enjoyable. You start relaxing. And then I got this idea, I'm God. And I literally, and there was another guy there that was called Michelle. He had one leg. So he'd been in a bad car accident. And he was going around and he was limping and stuff. We are all fucking God. We are all beautiful. And he was walking around doing it. Some other girl, Alina, was over there. She was crying and bawling her eyes out, screaming and banging the floor. Another man, he was roaring up against the wall. People were being pulled apart, but I was in this beautiful state and just thinking everything was, I've got all the answers, I'm the hero. And this goes on for 5 to 6 hours, and you go off and you see about ex-partners, people that died, everything. You can have conversations, you can go anywhere. And the reason why the guides are all around there, they're not allowed to speak to you, because if they said hello, you go that way. Because you're so present with everything that's going around. If somebody said a word and the music has to stay on, they're not allowed to speak the whole time, because then you go with them. So when he said, I'm God, like Michelle, that's where I went for over a couple of hours. Like, and that is like, you were just having the most incredible feeling. It was like being born again. Everything was for the first time. And I mean, so after you do that for ages and people are roaring and screaming, 2 people fell out because they were just roaring and screaming and shouting. Like, I was in the most beautiful state. It didn't matter what was going on. But they give you an apple after. An apple. I fucking tell you, that was the most incredible apple I've ever had in my entire life. Goosebumps even thinking about it.
I thought you were going to say steak.
Phone the wife. I'm on the way.
But I mean, getting an apple, like, and you think, but touching the thing, the textures, everything in your mouth, the flavours, it was the most incredible thing. Because if we went outside, you have to go to the toilet, you need a guide to come with you. And the leaves are like the first time you ever seen a leaf. The grass, you touch the sensations, everything. You just talk about being off your face. It's
Fuck, I want to do it.
But
would you do it, Sean? If
I don't know. Do you know what? There's not many things that you've asked me to do and I've said no till, so
but
I'll do.
Like I always say, you get called to it, and that's what they always say, Mother, I always called you. But I went, and then we would do, like, I written down after it. I never wrote much, before then. I started writing. I must have written 69 pages after about things and what was going on. We'd go the next day, and I had intention of a judgment, attachment, and ego. I wanted to overcome them, and that was the first day. The next day I had nothing. I had no wants from Mother Ayahuasca. I just wanted to be present. I just wanted, take me wherever you want me to go. And I would go up and I would take 2 this time, a wee bit more smarter and tuned in. And you had to go up to her this time to get it. And we were outside around an outdoor camp, and you're looking up and the sun's beaming, like, and you have the campfire out there for later on the night, and again your beds are all laying down. And I would take this, and this was just again go through the thing, the purging came. But I was so relaxed. I was the most calmest I've ever been in my entire life. It was just the most serene place I've been. But I was like sitting there. But then I'd open my eyes and I see nothing but green all around me. After I went through it, what is all this green about? What is that green? Green. Like, I was conscious of what I was thinking and everything. But I looked down. They were protecting somebody with these things. It was my freaking body was been lifted and been fired up. And literally, I was sitting there watching my legs. Who is throwing this about? What's going on? And at the same time, my whole body has been lifted. My body went into complete dancing. That's what they call it. Your body likes to dance. When Mother Ayahuasca takes it over, it'll throw you about. I was being thrown straight up, thrown back down,
Oh, fuck it.
thrown in.
I'll do it.
It was literally, and I goes, what do you want? Because I was completely conscious this time, but my body was being ripped up and down. Like I was still calm, and everybody was just looking at me because they were protecting me from hurting other people around me because we're all beside each other, and they had to stay beside me. And then they're holding, I'd breathe and stuff, and I'm like inside, I'm all right, but obviously it don't look all right. But it would go on till then. I wanted to tell them something because I had literally went, and when one of the visionaries, when you calm down again, boom, as soon as you closed your eyes and you went off somewhere, I went off with camping, leader of a tribe, and we were speaking this language and stuff, and we started walking back and forward, and his son was killed out in the jungle we were doing, but he didn't really care. There was no nothing. There was attachment. This is my hallucination where I was going. I was letting go and stuff. Like, what do you want? I know. I remember Mother I say, I want your mind. I want your mind. And I remember that clearly. And I goes, take it. But then you can't say take it, but if you weren't given to the mind, you have to just let it be. And when I let go, boom, I was standing up and I was talking a whole new language, lads. I mean, roaring. Everybody else was looking around and they were in their own trips. But I started talking supposed to be the first language of mankind. And I started there ticking, click, click, clan. It was like, and it was just incredible because every time I wanted to tell somebody, what are you saying there? You know, because all the other people were starting to go over and they were laughing because I would just go in and I was trying to tell them conversation where I had just been and what was going on at the same time, and that was it. But then, boom, you'd be flown back down again, Mother Ayahuasca, and she would take you in this rattling around.
That sounds good.
78 hours, lad, until the sun came down, the fire was up and it was lit, and I could not stop doing that for the rest of the night. That clicking and that clacking.
How do you come home?
How do you tell? I mean, ringing D. Graham and literally telling him what just had happened, and I was just I could not explain it, and it would never been. That's why I wrote a lot on it, and I have books about right now.
Just picture D one hanging up the phone going, "Fuck, Brian's still on the drugs." Hey,
He's still on one.
he's still on the drugs. he's, how do you come back? Sitting in Arbo, sitting down
Really?
Forbes. So the boys come in and go.
It was the most incredible.
They're like,
But it was. But like literally, that's what it was. I thought this is me healed. This is everything. I know I've been chosen, and this is what it was. And literally, I had just literally the most incredible experience with letting go of the mind and letting go of yourself. But when you go through something like that, there again, it builds you like you were chosen. This is 40 years ago. But I was in the BT van at the time working, and I come home and I mind driving up, and I know the tree right now, man. I can see it. I stopped and I seen a tree. I just paused and I was like, the tree was like talking to me, man. It was literally, I was just blown away by its beauty. I sat in that van for ages just staring at a freaking tree. My whole awareness came, I mind being up the pole and there was rain happening and I seen water falling off a leaf, and I would just, that'd be me half an hour just sitting staring at that leaf. It was just, my awareness was through the roof. I could not compel all this new information. Like seeing everything for the freaking first time, my mind was blown. So when you do not know how to control something, you're afraid of it, what do? You try to suppress it. Start back to the drink, start back to the drugs. And that was me again on a cycle because I could not handle this newfound awareness. And it was just freaking me out. And that's so many people say, but for me, I had nobody around me. I had nobody understood what I was going through. And it really hurt me again because I thought I'd done all these things again and it would change me.
how did you break the cycle?
Well, D. Graham, when I'd be sitting around with good friends and he would be doing a suit there, he does the suits, and he would be doing a suit for Kim Calvert, who works alongside Bob Proctor.
He's doing well. I seen
I was in
one
the day.
for McGregor.
Oh yeah, he's done the suits, working alongside McGregor and things there as well. So he's all over the work doing Van Morrison and all these guys.
Seen that for play.
But
I love to see people local, doing big things.
You know me, it was me and D. Graham that it was me and him were in his stag do, and me and him fought in his boxing. I said, you know nothing about boxing until you want, like, and it was his, and I was doing the secret at the same time, and we kind of fought at 4 o'clock in the morning and thing, and then I goes, are you on a boxing? You get into the ring, and he never fought before. He knew everything about boxing, so he comes and he lifts me when we were home after the stag, and he goes, we're going to the boxing. And it was his desire, but we'd go on that desire, and he was the secretary of the club, I was chairman, and we would go on this journey of desire. I would go on to now where I'm doing, he would go on to create a business with that desire. When you do something you've never done before, you spark something inside you that you've never felt, and you get creative, just like you've probably done. Ogie, you felt it so many times when you step outside of yourself. And that's where you find your greatness.
I haven't done ayahuasca, but it's on my list.
No, but I mean,
What did you say? It's illegal now. It sounds
No,
like
it's-
sounds like it should have been illegal.
no, it is illegal here. It is illegal here.
100% sounds like it should have been illegal.
But even you, like stepping out of yourself to do anything, to even do this, that's stepping outside of yourself. And when you step outside of yourself, you discover more about yourself.
No,
And that-
100%.
And this is what he told me about Kim Calvert was coming up to do a suit. I was like, who is she? He knows Bob. I goes, who knows Bob? Bob's in Canada. He's a superstar. You know, then he goes, no, look, she's doing a seminar in Oma here. And I went up to a seminar. And just like I said to you, you can never only connect the dots by looking back. You can never connect them looking forward. I sat in that room and I was able to connect the dots just the way I did so many poignant moments in your life. I was able to think, she described my whole life, what is happening, going on. Your thoughts become things, your feelings, your actions, your results. This is it. And then your sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, you see them. Everything started to go around. And the reason why I was going around and around and around and not getting any changes, not getting any different results, because I had a paradigm, a programming that was in me. And she taught and she showed me how it was. Ever since the day I met that lady, my life has just went whew, just like that. Because I then went on a course with her to develop myself. She says we don't have to develop ourselves on the outside, we just develop ourselves from within. And she taught me all I had to do is be my true self. And then when you discover yourself, you've discovered the world that you always wanted truly to be in. Each and every single one of us has a fingerprint in this world, and we have a unique gift to give to the world. And if we don't use it, we lose it. And so many people have went to their graves with all them dreams and them inventions never invented before. But for me, she would then go, and we're now working in 74 countries around the world, helping people discover themselves. Now, no, not everybody's got the same background as me, but it doesn't matter what background you have. It doesn't matter where you're going. Every single one of us is inherent nature is to grow. So we know what you want.
So then, when you left that, so obviously then you've worked a long time. You were working with BT. It was a great job.
I quit. You see, when you start doing things and you start discovering your self-worth, you create a new self-image. That's what we work on. You're working on, because you'll never outdo your beliefs that you have in your life. You'll never outwork them. But I had created new beliefs. I've created new, and I realized that there's more potential in me than ever I could imagine that I could ever use. So what do I want to do this the rest of my life for? What would I want to do this? What would you love to do? So I had the big goal. I'd love to be talking and speaking on stages around the world and like helping people. Just what I done, woke up and see their true potential. I remember that there, you're with BT and it's a great job, and everybody, have I ever heard anybody say it's a great pension? That drove me insane. I've seen boys that going for 43 years in that job and they quit and they're tired, and 1 month later they were on the roof and they slipped off and they died. And they did not ever discover themselves. They said they're going to start living after they left. I'm telling you now, you never get any tomorrows, you never get yesterdays, you've only got now. And this is the thing about me. I went on this journey and I was working a thing. I didn't know where it was going to take me. But I can tell you, I had a goal of working with Kim. And I got that goal. And I tell you what, my life, I haven't even achieved what I wanted to achieve yet.
From what I've seen of Ryan now, between being on boats around Marbella and even this week alone, you spoke in Newcastle, you spoke in Belfast, you've done a seminar here in Cookstown. So you're living it?
Exactly, man. It's I was telling you guys earlier, I wish I had been a bit more specific. I said I want to be flying around in jets around the world. I didn't realise it'd be freaking easy jet. But as the same goal as what I have, like there's my good friend Kieran, like he come through, like he was in a jet there last week going off to do a corporate business company, helping business grow. But what we're doing is helping business. We're every single person. We can work with football teams, work with anybody. It's every single person, one of us, has got the same unique gifts. We've got the same mental faculties that in every one of us. You're talking about mindset or how to do it. There's nothing good or bad in this life, just your thinking that makes it so. So energy, we talk about, it's always flowing to and through us, right? Think about that, the electricity and the light. You plug in the light, it works, it does the same thing. You plug in the microphone, two different expressions of energy. What is the difference? What we choose to do with it, that's the different device. Your device is your mind, your intellect, your thinking. And what you think, the energy flows in and it's going to create in your life. And literally everything that you think is going to show up in your life. And this is what we have to understand. And when we get this into our clients, and we love seeing blowing their minds, because in the first 30 days, it's just like, whoa, because that's what happened to me. I had to go through this. And you know what? See, when you're discovering yourself, like I mind being shovel in the snow. You're just bringing it back to that there with BT. I mind shovel in the snow to find a box to get into it. And I was like, what are you freaking doing? This is below what you're doing. And until I think, and that was the day I was like, round my boss, I goes, here, Rod, I quit. And I mean, literally, it just says, I quit. Ask me, how long do I have to give here? He didn't say, why are you quitting or anything. what's this here thing you're doing anyway, this course? He literally wanted to find out, and he ended up coming along with us now, and he quit his job as well. But I mean, this is the thing about it. I literally just made that decision and boom. And you know what? I had no idea what I was going to do. But see that night when I said I was quitting, avalanche of ideas, avalanche of things. You'll never find out the way until you do the thing that you're going to do. Just like you're doing the hero game.
Like, you know, you're saying that, and that's great because you know you're flying around the world and you're doing this here thing. There will be a lot of people listening to this and be like, well, that's all right. I have dependencies. I have, you know, it's the practicalities of it now, and I'm not knocking that because I 100% am with you in the mindset. If you, and we all know the saying, the definition of insanity is to repeat the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. If you want to make a change, you've got to make a change.
Yeah.
But for some people there that would be like, yeah, I'd love to, but I have this, that, and no. I know there's the doubts, but there's always reasons to, or always reasons not, and you'll find either that you want. But I'm just saying, some people will be watching this and be like, bang, I want to hear that man and I want to chat. Or some people will have turned off 30 minutes ago and go, that's a pile of shit. It's the way of the world and the way some people are. But I love that. I genuinely love that.
But even on that there, like obviously you're saying about writing down your goals, aspirations, your achievement, where you want to be. But there's them people who are probably going to listen to this and everything else, and it's just, but they're just lucky.
There's no such thing as luck.
Do you know, like, look at whoever has done something good in their life, as in D doing his suits for whatever.
No such thing.
Jeez, he just felt lucky there. Do you know what I mean, though? But you know that there's people that will be watching and being like,
it's not my point to prove anybody. I'm not here to prove anybody. I'm here to show that there's another way.
I think once you get that, you're not as worried. But Sean, a lot of people have said things, and a lot of people take other people down. It makes them feel better.
It's the crabs in the bucket.
But it makes them feel...
When one crab tries to get out, all the other crabs try and pull it back down. Because you know why? Once he raises up, I may have to do something different. And I like comfort. I don't like change.
But like, you're right. But a lot of people would put things down and people be successful and people took chances and all and go, they were lucky. And it's very... It would anger me quicker than anything because it's very demeaning. Like, you know, if people took chances and they go out on a limb and something goes right for them, they deserved every bit of that. That wasn't luck. That didn't. Now you can get rub of the green, but I always says the rub of the green.
You have to create your opportunities
when it's going your way. If you're making it go your way, it'll come your way. But we've gone. I love that. I love the story and the fact that we know you and to see you doing well is great, and we're going to include the links and stuff in there. But I think it's class, and I think people will resonate well. As some people obviously aren't maybe there yet, maybe aren't in the mindset of that.
Everybody wants change, but nobody wants to be changed, and that's the freaking thing. You know?
But it's always the fear. It's always done.
But fear is only coming from lack of understanding. See, when you understand the mind, it's the creator of everything, you know. Nobody's ever seen the mind, but if you've seen the principle of understanding the mind, then you fear less because you know why? You're the creator of everything. Everything in your life has just been a representation of what you truly thought beforehand. You had to think about that there, branding up there. You had to think about this microphone to buy it, what type. Everything's created twice. Once in the mind, then in its physical form. Every single person has got that ability. Everybody's got born with the same capabilities. Now, we might say deformity and stuff like that, but the potential in there is equally the same. We're all coming from the one source, and it just depends what we use that expression. You know, people use that there expression of negative way. I see it only the good and only opportunities in everything I do. And when I look for opportunities, it presents itself at every single moment. If I look for the good, I only see the good. If you look for the negative, you look for something wrong with somebody, you'll find it. I can't see it. I can only ever see the good. I'll always look for the good. And you know what? In every single person, you'll always find it if you go looking hard enough.
So, Brian, thanks very much for being here with me and Owen. It's been great from start to finish. A lot of insight into what you do and everything else. We'll put the link in the description below. And on to you, Owen.
So this week's topic is WhatsApp dangerous?
How dangerous?
I want to throw this out to you. I think WhatsApp is massively dangerous. I'll tell you why. Well, obviously,
What, the videos that you be sending people?
If your phone was seized now, could you go to prison?
Delete.
I read an article that 40% of guys could get arrested for what is in their phone.
Is it the group WhatsApps or is it just your own?
Group WhatsApps. And now let's be very, very clear. We're not talking like anything really, really bad here. But have you ever sent something to the wrong person?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Pat, I'll be home shortly. Do you want anything from the shop? Kiss, hug, kiss, hug.
Send it to the wife. I'm dead.
Into the fire service group or something like that.
That's not so bad. I was in a WhatsApp group one time, right? Playing rugby. I've been in rugby WhatsApp groups. And I didn't send it in. But somebody's like sends a message to someone privately in the group saying, oh, there's a minister in the group. Well, fucking get him out. Get him out. It's lowering the dome. But there was an article the other day, and I have to be honest, one of the WhatsApps, remember, not so much now because WhatsApp have changed the rules and stopped this that you can't forward on, but WhatsApp can be very destructive. I've experienced it myself towards the business. If someone is creating a campaign and they start sending stuff around, there's no way to vet it. You ever see Socrates when somebody comes and says, I have a story for you? And he's like, wait a minute. Is it going to benefit me? Do you know this to be exactly true? And how will we gain from this exchange? And he's like, well, I don't know if it's true, and no, it's not going to give you any gain, but it's gossip. He says, well, then I don't want to know. I don't. But WhatsApp's a wild, easy, forward thing. I've done it. I used to be guilty of it. I've done it. I forwarded on messages and things, but I seen one time. You know the way when you get the 16 pings, ding, 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 you're like, this is going to be good. And you see the plus and you're like, there's a couple of pictures and you're like, yeah, this is going to be good. So I opened it up and loaded it up. And it was a couple of pictures, a couple of videos, but the first one was a screenshot. I used to love the way people would set the scene first. So the first one was, look, guys, and it was like a football group in Portadown or something. Look, guys, somebody's sharing videos and pictures of my sister Ryan. Will you not open it? Right? And some fucker in the group, and he has to be a hateful fucker to do this here. He writes back, is she a blonde thing? Knowing fine rightly what your mom was talking about, but just letting him know that he's seen it. But I always remember looking going, oh, what a hateful man that would write, oh, I seen the blonde thing in the bed. Like, they know and find out what it is. But it just, as they're saying, there was a study on this about WhatsApp is dangerous. And it's not that WhatsApp's dangerous, and it leads on to what we were talking about. It's how people use these things and how quickly things can spread. Stories, videos, things that happen at home. Fine rightly. If something happened around Cookstown or in the general area,
I just don't bother with it anymore.
You're going to have it. You're going to have it. It's going to be like that. You're going to get pictures.
I even seen people fighting, just delete. Just don't even look.
I remember one day I got a message that somebody would put a car through a shop window or something, but I was driving up by and it was still there, and I was like, Jesus, it hasn't happened that long ago, and I've already got a WhatsApp to me.
So we talked about getting Keelan on. What happened, Owen?
Keelan, he's back in camp.
Oh, he's not coming on.
He's not on this week. No.
Must have seen me with the fists up and he gets scared.
Got feared,
did I intimidate him, did I?
Got feared. He would be a victim to the handsome stranger.
That's it.
He'd be the first fight Sean's won away. No. No, he wasn't, but we have a couple of guys lined up in the pipeline in the next couple of weeks. So is this secret news, or is this we'll make it public?
We'll keep it secret for now, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned to the Burr Podcast Show. Sean, just before we wrap up, read a wee thing this week.
Well,
the population, we're having less children, and I fucking figured it out why.
Cost?
Well, that's probably a more reason, but fake tan.
Fake tan is reducing
the population.
For what reason?
Right. I'm going to reverse this. see your woman on a night out, looking well, hair done, nails done, tan done, blah, blah, blah. Night before, fake tan, fluffy pajamas, don't even touch me.
So you're not getting any?
Don't even touch me.
So that's right.
Don't come near me. Fake tan has took a night away a week.
And hair.
And hair.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch my hair.
Don't touch my hair.
Spend a lot of money. You know, so like the person everyone sees in the Instagram pictures, the following night and the Saturday night, the jazz, the night before, it's the Mickey Mouse pajamas.
Don't come near me.
It's the pre-mark fluffy Christmas pajamas. 3 of them bought 4 through the year for the tan. And that is gospel.
Gospel.
So Sean, the big Sean shout-outs. Who have we got this week?
Shout outs. I'll say
Just
it
be
again.
careful now. You've got Aiden's phone there.
I do.
AK,
I don't want to double tap or anything here.
AKA the face for radio. Has
Face
that
for
taken
radio.
off yet? I don't know if that's taken off yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't double. Hey, we'll open up something else afterwards and we'll see. Don't like anything. Right.
Wink, wink.
So
So,
who
big
have we
shout out to Paul Cooey. Thanks, Paul, for putting up the message. Good luck, lads.
Good man, Paul.
Great idea. We have Charlene McComb. Looking forward to listening to more. We have Aaron Rooney. Is that PT Aaron Rooney?
Is he PT on it?
Aaron Rooney PT.
He's
That's what
online.
we're talking about.
Good man.
Good man, Aaron.
Online.
Only playing. And who else do we have? We have Ryan Penquin.
PT online.
No.
Keeper LS. What?
No, not PT.
What?
Coach.
Coach.
He is a coach, not a PT.
Put me in, coach.
Main coach.
Cheers, Ryan.
And Roger Purvis.
Good man,
listen.
Rog.
So thanks very much, guys.
So, Brian, that's it. Podcast number 2, and thank you very much. You're actually our first official guest.
Boom.
We went solo last week, but
Somebody else on the other side of the table.
that's
my seat.
in the grill.
Yeah.
In the grill,
Very grateful, and I hope and I wish you all the success in this place.
and we
Cheers,
do
thank
too.
you.
And Brian, we hope that we hope this resonated with a few people, and some people that are going to get on to you and talk to you about it.
Remember, okay, there's been more done to change the world with a microphone than has been done with a gun. So I always know with you guys here, where you bring it on, bring value, bring service, and changing a lot of people's lives.
Get it out there.
I think we can end that.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thanks, guys. And if you're still listening, make sure to subscribe. We'll be back next week. Good luck.
Boom.
Showbiz.